Welcome back to the Vintage Modernist. Cutting edge technology. Technology is how we roll around here. I know, that's what I was telling Dave just the other day. Man, it's 2017, you've got to upgrade, you've got to get with it. You have to. It's 2017. I mean, let technology help you. I know. All right, man. All right, bye. That's the thing about technology, man. If you don't keep up with it, you're just going to get left behind. I mean, it's time and tide waits for no man. Man, that ain't the one I want. No. All right. What do we have today? What can I tell you that you don't already know? Maybe some. I don't know. Might be helpful for somebody. I've got the Rockwell Sonicrafter F50. This handy little widget, I cannot stress to you how handy it is. I mean, and I'm being serious here. There's a bazillion of these out marketed by everybody. I'm not affiliated with Rock. I'm not affiliated. Let's clear that up real quick. Not affiliated with any of these tool manufacturers. I do this stuff because I have it. It's my stuff, and I use it, and I've used it extensively if I'm doing one of these things. And so there's no paid. That's a whole different ballgame. All right, this thing, you get this lovely plastic case because we all know how durable plastic is. But enough with the sarcasm. It does have a little storage bay. You can put your blades in there. Real quick, we can do upside down. So upside, extremely handy tool to have. If you do any kind of woodworking, any kind of crafting, I would imagine it would be the same thing. It's handy, for real. I'll get into a little bit more on that in a second. Downside, and that's what made me think of that because I had this in my hand, these little widgets, these are the blades that go in there, are expensive. They vary. I think you get two for about $16, $18. And well, that's not expensive. It is when you burn them up, and it is when you use it, and I use it. I use quite a bit constantly. So this is the actual widget that we're talking about here, the F50. I like this model because it has this built-in lock on it. Why, dog? This is unacceptable. Okay, let's try this again, man. If I had a dollar for every time, I'll rock him to sleep. All right. I got this model because I love this handy little, it's basically a wrench that's built into the thing. You tighten it, you loosen it. There's none of the, well, that isn't exactly true. This thing comes out and there's an Allen wrench style doodad that goes in there for a different attachment. But you do that and you're ready to roll, man. I don't know if you can see that very well. But basically this ziggles and zaggles back and forth, and with the serrated edge you can make plunge cuts. And it's just ideal. If you have a circular saw and say you're cutting against a deck, or of course you're cutting the siding, there's only so far you can come down, and the deck or the sled, the base, whatever you want to call it, is going to bottom out and you're still going to have yay much. Man, I used to go through just a nightmare trying to, you know, perforate it with a small drill bit and get a chisel and a hammer and get that last little bit that the circular saw could not get. This takes care of all that. If you're a home gamer and you know, you fix what you got to fix and you do what you got to do, this probably isn't for you. I don't know. Now if you're a crafter, then I could see it. There's a little widget that goes on here that is for sanding. Obviously I've never used it. That goes on there, those go on here. a little adhesive pad, and here's the, all this stuff comes with it. Here's the little doodad I was talking about. But if you do any kind of repair work or handyman stuff or whatever, man, I'm telling you, this thing is invaluable. I think it was about $150. They may have come down a little bit, believe it or not, since then. Worth every penny, as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely. Just to be able to get in the tight nooks and crannies, to do plunge cuts, to do straight in stuff. Wood flooring is ideal, where your trim comes down around the door casings, and now you're, say you had whatever you had before, and now you're coming back with wood flooring and your underlayment, and you've got to cut off that trim. Oh, cannot speak enough good about it, honestly. Mentioned a lot of upsides, mentioned one downside. I will say, you can get these now. I think it's a 6-pack of blades, and that's the cheapest I could find them, and I think they end up being about, this was like 35 bucks, and I think they were $5 or $6 per individual blade then if you break it all down, and that's as cheap as I can find them, which is ridiculous to me. A saw blade is what, $6, $7, and there's a heck of a lot more steel in that than there is in one of these doodads. And make no mistake, I go through them. There's another deal. You hit a nail, even the ones that are, can you see that? Yeah. Even the ones that are so-called metal blades, it just burns them up. So downside there. Another one ruined. And why do I keep my old ones? Because there's always that little bit if you just are in a pinch and you just got to do a little bit more and you limp through it. There's another one. So for the money they're charging for these, I'd like to see they make these a little bit tougher, or a lot bit tougher. Still a remarkably handy tool. If you were riding the fence on this, well, they also have a little scraper type attachment. Supposedly metal, well, the wood one works good. I've even got the corner of that to burn off too. You probably can see it on there. Anyway. Yeah. That's a downside of it. I still love it. I mean, this thing is just time and time and time again. If you just need a little nibble, or where nothing else, even a jigsaw has that base on there, and you can only go so far, and that's it. You're done. You've done everything you can do with the jigsaw. You've got to figure out another way to cut it out. That is where this dude comes in handy. I can plug it in, and I can let you be deafened by the by the noise of it. I don't see the point. We're not going to cut anything with it. It's just a quick glance, quick overview. If you are riding the fence and you do any kind of repair work, I highly recommend it. Seriously. Absolutely ingenious tool. There are a lot of different versions of these now. I can't speak to any of them. This is the only one I've ever owned. If this thing burns up, and it's going to, there's another downside. And I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. It has multiple speeds on it. And I kind of briefly read through the thing, and it said for basic repetitious cuts, kind of keep it in the middle of the road. It can't overheat if you have it. So I've never gone above 3. Never had any need to, and I've never gone below it. The moral of the story is, this dude, I've gotten this so hot you cannot touch it. I mean, and I don't know if that's heat sinking, I don't know if that's the brushes or the commutator, and then it takes somebody with a bigger, I don't speak that language. Whatever the case, I don't know how long this is going to hold up. I have used the crap out of it, and it's been dropped in the dirt, and this and that and the other thing, and absolutely fantastic tool. I love the whole thought of it, and I can't believe it took an engineer this long to come up with this thing. Because for all those years there was nothing. You figured it out on your own. You did the drill bit and the chisels or whatever method you chose to do it, but love that thing. Can't speak enough good about it. Alright, let's do some old stuff. This is called a pod auger. I had to look that up. I saw a bunch of different terms for this. It's a cooper's tool, and a cooper was somebody who made barrels and various stuff like that. And it's a very specialized craft, I guess, and it's also pretty well gone unless you're working for one of like the big whiskey distilleries that still age things in barrels. Kind of the whole industry is sort of gone. But what this did, this is not the original handle, of course. This was for boring holes, what they call a bunghole at the bottom of, I know, we're in second grade, and I'm an idiot too, it's okay. At the bottom of the barrel, and it has a taper to it. And at one time, I'm sure this was just sharp as a razor. So you could bore a tapered hole into the bottom of the barrel, and then the barrel had another hole on top called a peephole. For obvious reason, you can see your contents and what's in there and how much is left and blah blah blah. And then they would carve a tapered plug to fit these, or let me grab it real quick. Or you would have a spigot or a spout like this, where you could stop the flow of it and turn it. All this for a barrel. And they used to put everything in barrels. That's actually where you got the phrase cash on the barrel head. There was barrels everywhere, and they all had stuff in them ready to be shipped or received or whatever. And a quick deal outside of the stable or something, well, let's get taken care of, And here's your money, cash on the barrel head, the head of the barrel. Anyway, that's what this dude is. I like it. I think it's cool. It's extremely dull. Now, there was time that was just razor sharp. And this piece of wire so it can dangle from my garage ceiling. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, you can do you got to push the thumbs up on the video, on the YouTube part of it. You can push the thumbs down. It's a free country. Anyway, hopefully beneficial, hopefully interesting, and we will see you next time. Have a good day.